This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Convicts in Clarendon quadruple murder get life sentences 20 years before parole. Two men who were among a group of armed thugs who executed 4 people in Clarendon last month will each have to serve at least 20 years in prison. Andre Bennett and Oral Richards each pleaded guilty to 4 counts of murder and illegal possession of a firearm in the Home Circuit Court yesterday. Both men were armed with guns but did not fire their weapons just after midnight on September 12 when 2 sisters, their nephew, and one of the women's common-law partner were shot execution-style in Havana Heights. Richards was sentenced to life in prison for each murder and ordered to serve 20 years before he is eligible for parole. He was also sentenced to 20 years in prison for illegal possession of a firearm. Richards has a previous conviction for illegal possession of a firearm. The sentences are to run at the same time. Bennett was sentenced to 20 years in prison at hard labor for each murder and 10 years for illegal possession of a firearm. He too will serve the sentences simultaneously. Tashana White, 32, her sister Sharona White, 25, their nephew Luke Newman, 19, and Sharona's partner Michael Solomon, 27, were at home when residents reported hearing loud explosions and summoned the police. All 4 were shot in the head and the torso. 2 prisoners missing from Montego Bay Freeport lockup. 2 prisoners have gone missing from the Montego Bay Freeport police station in St. James. One of the escapees was in custody on 6 counts of murder. Police sources say the prisoners were discovered missing between 5:30 a.m. and 6 a.m. today. The discovery was made as prisoners were being tallied for their morning shower. A thorough search revealed no physical breakout, police sources say. It would seem as if they were released by someone, a highly placed police source told the news. A major probe into the disappearance is now underway. Special urge for people due second AstraZeneca jab to visit vaccination sites. The Health Ministry is especially urging people due their second dose of the AstraZeneca COVID vaccination to turn up at any of the vaccination sites open this weekend. Sites are open across the island as the ministry continues offering first and second doses of AstraZeneca and the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Following this weekend's schedule, fixed vaccination sites will operate throughout the coming week. Details of this weekend's site may be viewed at vaccination.moh.gov.jm or the ministry's social media pages. Persons should take along their government-issued identification or a letter from the Justice of the Peace. Those due a second dose will also need to take their vaccination card. $100 million SIM swap scam, 4 before court for alleged fraud. 4 persons were on Thursday brought before the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court accused of fleecing millions of dollars from the bank accounts of customers of the First Caribbean International Bank. The crime was allegedly carried out utilizing the SIM swap method. This occurs where unsuspecting customers' SIM cards that are linked to his or her bank account are compromised and the telephone numbers are taken over by fraudsters who then create online banking profiles for the victim's accounts using the victim's telephone number. Through this scheme, one account was credited for more than $22 million and the fraud has already racked up $100 million. The 4 accused in the First Caribbean case are Dusane Moulton, Akeem Plummer, Martina Shim, and Denoy Hermit, who are charged with various fraud-related offenses. They have not yet entered a plea. Moulton, an accountant, is being charged with 3 counts of conspiracy to defraud, simple larceny, and 3 counts of facilitating a transaction involving criminal property. Plummer is being charged with 3 counts of conspiracy to defraud, 2 counts of facilitating a transaction involving criminal property. Shim, a call center employee, is charged with 2 counts of simple larceny, 2 counts of conspiracy to defraud, and 2 counts of engaging in a transaction that involves a criminal property. Hermit, a call center employee, has a charge of simple larceny, conspiracy to defraud, and engaging in a transaction that involves criminal property. When the accused appear before Senior Parish Judge Lorian Cole Montague, the allegations are that the First Caribbean International Bank made a report to the Constabulary Financial Unit of occurrences of fraud and larceny being committed by a syndicate who manipulated the bank's online banking platform to conduct fraudulent transactions. The accused, who were granted station bail of $200,000 each, have been ordered fingerprinted by the judge. They have also been ordered to surrender their travel documents and the stop orders were imposed. They are expected to return to court on December 13. 14-year-old girl missing. An Ananda alert has been activated for 14-year-old Georgette Scott, otherwise called Jada, of Windsor Road, Spanish Town in St. Catherine, who has been missing since Thursday, October 21. She is of dark complexion, stout build, and about 168 centimeters or 5 feet 6 inches tall. Reports from the Spanish Town Police are that about 1:50 p.m., Georgette was last seen at home wearing a red blouse and checkered pants. She has not been heard from since. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Georgette Scott is asked to contact the Spanish Town Police at 876-984-2305, Police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. Military Academy expanding skills training opportunities for youths. President of the Caribbean Military Academy, Brigadier Raj Mason, says the Jamaica Defense Force continues to strengthen its comprehensive youth engagement program aimed at impacting unattached young men and women across the island. The initiative is in collaboration with the Heart NSTA Trust and the Ministry of National Security. The Academy is the academic institutional arm of the JDF. Brigadier Mason was speaking during a visit in Montego Bay in Flankers, where at-risk young men from vulnerable communities in the parish are being trained to operate trucks and other heavy-duty vehicles. He noted that the program, which focuses largely on skills training, has been working with its flagship Jamaica National Service Corps to help prevent youth involvement in crime and violence by facilitating behavior change. We have been bolstering support to other vocational technical engineering type training, he said. It is not lost on anybody that the country faces a particular challenge. In addition to the pandemic, we face a challenge of crime and violence perpetuated largely by our youth, who are both victims and the perpetrators. He noted that there will be an overhaul of Caribbean Military Academy Montego Bay, which houses the Cornwall Automotive Training Institute and the Caribbean Military Technical Training Institute, in a bid to expand the skills training offerings at the institution. Education sector in need of an urgent transformation, said former Education Minister. Former Education Minister Maxine Henry Wilson says the country's education sector is in need of urgent transformation to halt the downward spiral which cannot be blamed on the COVID-19 pandemic. Henry Wilson says there is need for firm decisions to bring the sector back on track. She raised the concern about the state of the education sector in light of the report from the Auditor General of the transfer of $124 million by the Ministry of Education to the Joint Committee for Tertiary Education under questionable circumstances. The former Education Minister told the news that while the pandemic has caused disruption to teaching and learning, the education sector was being poorly managed. I really think it's time for us to get back to some fundamental questions about education. I think we are blaming COVID for aspects of our behavior and performance and the pitchy-patchy way to address things. We need to sit down and examine what is the consequence of COVID. The former Education Minister also called on Prime Minister Andrew Holness to update the public on the status of the report from the Education Transformation Commission. The commission is led by Professor Orlando Patterson. My understanding was that the report would have been in March, then I heard June. I think we need to find out where that is because it is a guidepost as to where we need to go, she said. In June, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the report from the Education Transformation Commission, which has undertaken a comprehensive review and assessment of the education system, would be postponed until September. The Prime Minister said Commission members had requested more time. The Commission has already missed 2 other deadlines. 18-year-old woman among 22 COVID deaths, 189 new cases. An additional 189 COVID-19 cases were recorded over 24 hours up to Friday afternoon in Jamaica. According to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, 22 COVID-19 deaths occurred from August 30 to October 21 and were recorded on Friday, bringing the overall coronavirus death toll in Jamaica to 2,175. An 18-year-old female from St. Anne, a 79-year-old male from St. James, and an 89-year-old male from Manchester are among the latest COVID-19 fatalities. Of note, 4 of those deaths were under investigation. There were 164 more recoveries on the day, bringing that overall tally to 56,435. The newly confirmed COVID-19 cases brought the total number on record for the island to 88,159. Notably, Jamaica recorded a positivity rate of 15.8% based on the samples tested on Friday. Of the newly confirmed cases, 112 are males and 77 are females, with ages ranging from 5 months to 98 years. The case count was made up of St. Catherine 101, Kingston and St. Andrew 29, St. James 12, St. Thomas 9, Trelawney 8, Clarendon 7, Manchester 6, St. Anne 6, Hanover 3, St. Elizabeth 3, St. Mary 2, Westmoreland 2 and Portland 1. There are 60 moderately ill patients, 35 severely ill patients, and 22 critically ill patients among the 28,952 active cases now under observation in Jamaica. A total of 325 COVID-19 patients are now hospitalized locally. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.